Welcome in to Three to Hardaway, aka the three-man Jalen Weed, aka the best big three since LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh, live on YouTube on a Tuesday. It is the last episode of the NBA's 2022-2023 season. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. We came from August, I'm gonna say 25th, before the preseason started, and we are here on June 13th. And we have an NBA champion. We got the Denver Nuggets, who are now crowned the NBA champions for the first time in their franchise's history. So, of course, we are going to get into all of that. But while you are here, leave us a like on the stream. It helps the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel as we're on the way to 200 subscribers. And, of course, to join the conversation, pop in the live chat or in the comments after the show. We also are available on any podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anybody podcast. So while you're over there, leave a 5-star review, and we'll greatly appreciate it. If you don't know who I am the walking bucket providing instant offense. It's your boy Savage. Up here, we got the coach on the sidelines, take them to school and on and off the court. And when I say it's really shitty, it's really shitty. Shitty is here for work.
Yep, in my white tee.
Yep, in his white tee. What a polo at, man? It's time for the polo.
He didn't get his assignment yet. He's still waiting. He's still soaking right now.
Yeah, man. Udonis Haslam is done, so we can finally move on
and get a roster spot.
Get a roster spot. Maybe y'all get some actual draft picks that can play when the games matter the most, you know. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We also got your favorite DJ, Sample Man himself, Mr. Ted Shakir. Toot, what's good?
Man, not much, man. Can't wait to get in my own damn bed. I tell you that, man. But it's been fun, man.
Man, we ain't get to kick it, man. You've been out here doing your damn thing. We ain't get to kick it last week.
Next time.
It's all good. All right, we did mention before. Well, before we get into it, too, you got a trivia question as always.
I did have trivia.
I always forget.
So of course we know that Nikola Jokic won Finals MVP as a center. There are 9 other centers to have won this award. Can you name those centers?
Dream.
9,
is one of them.
Shaq.
Will
is one. Yep. Kareem is one. Yep.
That's 4.
Was it Moses Malone?
Moses Malone is 5.
Moses got to get 1. Bill Walton is 6.
6.
Bill Russell at 7.
Bill Russell is not.
He never won?
Bill Russell, the year they started keeping track of NBA Finals MVPs was Bill Russell's last year.
Wow.
So ironically, they ended up naming the Bill Russell's, of course, Finals Award. The first time that they've given this award is to Nikola Jokic. But Bill Russell, the great, is not a Finals MVP.
George Mikan? That's before Bill Russell. Never mind.
Can you give us the 7 that we've named already again? Do you remember the 7?
Y'all said Kareem. Y'all said Wilt. You said Moses. You said Kareem, Hakeem, and Shaq, and Bill. So
that's 2 more? 3 more?
Yep, 2 more. Let me see. Yep, 2 more.
Because Dunk is not a center. He's not considered a center. Okay. Not Dirk.
I'm pretty sure I'll probably just give them to y'all because they're like older. They're like, way before our time.
We said it's after Bill Russell, right?
After Bill Russell. Mm-hmm. But ironically, the year that he did, the 1969 was the last year a center did win that year.
That the Sonic scene that we learned about earlier in the season?
Nah, he played for the Knicks.
Oh, not Clyde Frazier. What's that man's name?
It's 1969. This is the first year they ever started.
NBA Final I know what I'm saying. Oh, Willis Reed.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
And the one we're missing played in the 1977-78 finals for Washington.
Oh, West Unseld.
Let's go, Savage. Let's go, man.
A little something.
So you know a little about, right? You know all your moves and shit. Again, Willis Reed, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Willis Reed again, Bill Walton, Wes Unseld, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem won it twice in a row, and then Shaquille O'Neal 3 times.
Okay, no doubt. I have my own trivia now.
I like
my first time having trivia, man. Feel good.
Right, I know, man.
This ain't that something?
Nikola Jokic had another triple double, right? Well, I guess he had it the other day, wherever it was. He was the fastest person to get a triple double in a game ever. And I need y'all to tell me, how quick did he get a triple double? How many minutes did he take to get a triple double in that game where he had the fastest?
28 minutes.
No.
22 minutes.
No.
You telling me I need to go lower than 22?
It wasn't. He didn't take that long. 11 minutes.
A little bit more. A little bit more than that.
Give me 17.
A little bit less than that.
13 minutes.
Nope. A little bit more.
15.
Nope.
14.
16.
It took him 14 minutes.
Wow.
14.
To get a triple double. I don't know what happened. I don't even remember that happening in the game, but he had to have getting like putbacks or rebounds or something. but we've seen Joker, get 8 assists in a quarter. And so it's not that hard for him, but it took him 14 minutes, which is the fastest time, I think, since 1977, I think what it was. It was something crazy. It was like, not Willis Reed, but Wilt Chamberlain had it like faster because, he getting rebounds and throwing that mug out. So, but yeah, that's the fastest time. 14 minutes. 14 minutes, triple double. So
how do you defend that?
You don't.
You can't.
Which is what happened with the Miami Heat, and we can get right into it. The NBA Finals. On this podcast, we did say that it was going to go at least 6 or 7 games. I will give the Miami Heat this. They tried their best to make it a dogfight. Like, the series said 5 games, but best believe the Nuggets had to win. Like, they had to it wasn't like a dominant performance per se, like where Miami Heat just laid down, but they did win in 5 games. Nikola Jokic is your finals MVP, of course, and the Denver Nuggets franchise got their first NBA Finals. More could be on the way in the future. We'll see about that. But I'm gonna let Sheedy have the floor. He is the Miami Heat fan here. He was out on vacation last week, so I know he's chomping at the bit to kind of explain what's going on. So the floor is yours.
Remember what I told you earlier, bro. Speak from the heart. Speak from the heart,
bro. From the corner zone, as they would. Man, honestly, I first of all, I am sick and tired of the disrespect that the Nuggets have received after winning this championship. So I'm gonna start with the winners first, because that's how it should be. People saying like, oh, well, they beat the 8th seed, the 7th seed, and they're supposed to be the teams in front of them. It doesn't matter what seed they are. They would have said something if Nikola Jokic didn't beat LeBron in this run, or if he didn't beat Kevin Durant in this run. They would have said something regardless. There's too many players in the West for you to pick that out. There's Kawhi, there's Steph, like there's too many things. And saying like, hey, it would have been more impressive had they beat the 76ers or the Celtics. Well, let me go ahead and switch over to the Miami Heat. 76ers should have took care of business against the Celtics. Celtics should have beat the Heat. So again, you beat the teams that are in front of you. Mike Malone is a fantastic coach. I think we were talking about this maybe a previous podcast about Mike Malone and his lineage and how he kind of came from like nowhere, so to speak. And at this point now, he needs to start his own coaching tree here very soon, if not already prescribed. He started blitzing Duncan Robinson. Even though they were already up 3-1, he blitzed Duncan Robinson. And I don't think people took into account how effective that was, because now Duncan Robinson's not getting his shot off, and he's not got that little quick pass to Bam at the cut. And we couldn't figure that out. We couldn't figure out Nikola Jokic in the paint. This is the easiest thing to break in the 2-3 zone and put that big at the top and let him cook. And he clearly cooked this in 14 minutes for a triple-double. Let me also say this, and this is what teams need to really pattern themselves after, especially with the CBA. I know we're going to get into all this in a moment. And Cap has alluded to this as well, and I completely agree with him. If you watch the series, there was someone different that stepped up for the Nuggets every time. Nikola Jokic is going to be there. Jamal Murray was there. But you're having Christian Brown steal the show in Miami Game 3. Steal the show and the ball. You're having Aaron Gordon looking like, like 20-something points. I got off of rebounds. I thought this guy was just dunking. This guy was making a feast in the paint, right? And then you go to Game 5, and I feel like it was a collective effort. But Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at the end, KCP, KCP saw what's called Pope, I just said. But Michael Porter Jr., hell of a game. With his length, that three, that was a dagger. To me, I feel like it would just like, and he came down, got the rebound, came all the way down court, drained that three. I was like, oh, that's it. And so what I'm telling you all, and what I'm saying is, this is the recipe at which teams need to now be in regards to having those sufficient role players around their stars, that even when the stars are doing well, the role players, someone of those role players is still stepping up and being a part of that. And that comes with a strong culture and a strong coach. So I will say kudos to the Nuggets. To your point, Savage, it was a dogfight. It wasn't like they beat us by 20, 30 points. Like every time was, I mean, maybe besides maybe game 3. I think game 3 was a little bit out of hand. Or game 4. I can't remember exactly what game, but every game was a fight. And this took you really back to old school basketball. I think that's what Miami Heat are about in regards to, we're not going, 110, 120 like the regular season is. We're going to grind this out. And you're going to hit some shots. You're going to miss some shots. But what killed us was our length and our inability to get defensive rebounds that went to getting them offensive rebounds and second chance points. Bruce Brown with that great tip at the end of game 5. I mean, really sealed the deal right there. But I mean, we'll get to addressing that like French salad, okay? And I will say that the Nuggets deserved this ring. The Nuggets do not deserve the criticism that they have received because they beat the teams that were in front of them. And the Nuggets have, to me, I believe, a recipe that will continue. I'm not going to call them a dynasty yet. I'm not going to sit here and call them that. They have to earn the word dynasty, just like the Warriors earned the dynasty, just like the Bulls and the Lakers. Like, you have to earn that word dynasty to me. But they did earn the word of champion. And there is nothing greater. That's the whole point of team sports. We don't play for nothing else but a championship. And so shout out to them, and shout out to every one person that I know as a Nuggets fan. Jalen, hey, kudos to you and the Nuggets, brother. And the only person that I personally know, and I don't even know you personally like that. Like, I don't know, what size, pants you wear, not like that. But personally, I want to say kudos to you, and F everybody else that became a Nuggets fan just couldn't become a Nuggets fan. But that's what the finals are about. You gotta choose a side, so I get it.
You good, bro?
I'm not good. This is just a warm up.
I know it's just.
I just preheated the oven right now.
Out of what, 30? We counted it up, Savage. 38 episodes. We know damn well you took it way too easy, but it's okay. You about to let me get my.
Oh, we get into Miami in a later segment. We gonna get into them.
Cool. Okay, cool. You warming it up a little bit. I feel you, man. But nah, kudos to everything you just said about the Denver Nuggets. Coming into this season, I said that the Denver Nuggets would be a lower seed because I really didn't know how this Jamal Murray would fit in a progressing Jokic. I expected them to win a championship next year because of the dream I had a year or two ago. And to see it all come into fruition now is just a matter of, no pun intended, but the Nuggets literally trusted the process.
Can I pause you right there for a second? Mm-hmm. First of all, stop demoting yourself. You said next year. You called it technically in 2022, and it happened in 2023. So we're not going to continue to demote yourself. You called it. You just didn't want to stamp it. That's all.
I didn't want to stand. Okay. I did say, okay, well, I was standing the next year. You don't want to say the word dynasty. I think they have started a dynasty because, like I said, they've trusted the process in order to put themselves ahead of the game. And what I mean by that is that if you look at their roster, Jokic probably, no disrespect to Jamal Murray, but Jokic will probably be the only player to get that supermax. Cool. Now you're able to continue to build like you've been doing. You've been saying, okay, we finna take the best player in the draft and Michael Porter Jr. and whatever he needs to have done. We'll wait a year or two just to make sure the number one player in that draft is able to come and ball for us. What happened? They end up winning a championship. You're able to literally progress Jokic to the point where now he is the best center of the league. Coming into this season, that was the debate. I am completely on side Jokic. I am, even though Joel Embiid won the MVP, the way that Jokic is able to affect the game is something we've never seen in a center before, ever. And you could probably say in a player period. but he's literally changing the game. And with the Nuggets being able to still bring literally everybody back, like I don't see them missing anybody. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Gordon, when he signed, well, when they do that trade deadline, I definitely remember saying, "Hey, y'all, this is the number one move that's going to affect the Western
You said
Conference."
that. I remember that. You said that.
The fit. They saw the superstars that they had in Murray. They saw the superstars that they had in Jokic. They built literally the perfect team around them, and we're literally watching them as the NBA champions. I'm getting tired of the disrespect as well because to a point I've been a little bit disrespectful, but my disrespect has been in fun, calling Joker a joke and everything. Like y'all know me, man. I'm a stand in it. But to say that, you know, oh, they beat the Lakers, that's nothing. The Lakers beat the number 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, they beat the Phoenix. They beat the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, even though Aiden gave out and became the I don't care bear, they still had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And they still got 2 of them out. So I'm saying Mike Malone was able to get his boys done. And then to go against the Miami Heat, like the team that really wasn't supposed to be there, but you literally had a chess match between coaches. If any basketball fan got anything bad to say, you're not a basketball fan. So point blank period. So kudos to the Nuggets. I expect them to be right back at least Western Conference Finals because I don't expect them to lose anybody. And it's time for everybody to step y'all game up because as far as front offices go, Nuggets got a pretty good one because, like I said, in the future, Jokic may be the only Supermax player you have to worry about. And as when this new CBA hit, that's going to affect a team like the Nuggets perfectly.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the contract.
One more thing, Savage. I just remember something. One more thing.
Go ahead.
I've been on the Nuggets about defense. The Nuggets stopped the Heat from scoring 100 points in all but one game. The one game that they scored 100 points is the one game they won.
Yep.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yep. That was one of my points, but absolutely. Absolutely. The good thing about the Nuggets, and it's kind of fortunate, it's kind of similar to like the Grizzlies with, you know, Ja not making an all NBA team. Jamal Murray's never been an all-star. He's never made all NBA team, so they don't even have to pay that much money to keep him. They can cap out. I'm sure they'll cap out on the amount they can pay him, but you ain't gotta give him 200 M's because he's made 2-3 all NBA teams. Joker gonna get his money. He get a blank check, but they are in a very fortunate position. It's kind of a perfect storm for Denver. And on top of that, I'm happy for Jamal Murray in general because he thought they were going to trade him, you know, a year or two ago because he was
the process.
Yeah, because he hadn't recovered from that injury, but Mike Malone told him like, nah, man, you good. You our guy. We're gonna keep you here. And that is what I call, I mean, we got Heat culture, but Nugget culture is like everybody knows their place in the hierarchy. You know it's Joker, you know it's Murray, and then between Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon, whoever is in the mix there, and then Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Chris Brown, whoever Brown,
Bobby Brown,
like whoever want to come out and hoop. That's what happened. So I'm gonna go through my laundry list of people I want to shout out from the Nuggets. Number 1, Mike Malone. Mike Malone caught a lot of flack in the postseason because of the comments towards the Lakers and how he felt that his team was being disrespected. Hey, man, he called his shot and he hit every single one of them, man. He like, y'all talking about the Lakers, we just keep their ass. Talk about us and what we doing. The Nuggets, as far as the players, don't have any trash talkers or anybody that's kind of like that's talkative like that. But it's Mike Malone at minimum for them, the coach. And the coach is setting the tone. He said, what was it after game 2? Like, hey, y'all, it's the NBA Finals. What are we doing? We're losing to the Miami Heat at home. We cannot lose at home. We have the best home court advantage left in the playoffs right now. And so for him to call out his team and then they respond by winning 3 games after that, after losing that game 2, that speaks volumes as to who he is as an NBA coach. So I just want to give a shout out to Mike Malone there. Number 2, I'm gonna shout out Aaron Gordon. I thought Aaron Gordon was a fluke. I didn't think he was that good. And 2, you called it years ago. You said, nah, this is gonna be a good move for them in the long run. And the long run has come. Like he had that game, was a game 4, 27 points. The man was hitting 3 points in that corner, man. Like he stepped up.
Even game 1.
Yeah, game 1 too.
Game off. Hey, let's get it.
He was bodying everybody. Like he's too small. He said he's too little. Go ahead.
And just to add on to what you're saying about Aaron Gordon, this is not just the finals Aaron Gordon that Marcus Savage is discussing right now. This is the Aaron Gordon that's been here the entire playoffs and been doing the untangibles. He's been the one that had to guard KD. He's been the one that had to guard LeBron and AD. Bro. Like Aaron Gordon's contract, whatever he's making, again, pay him. pay him the max that you can, because again, it's not going to be an all NBA player. But again, we'll get back to this more when it comes to that new CBA. That one super max leaves you money to do the things that they're doing. So it's my fault, Savage.
No, you good. And the good thing about Aaron Gordon, he got 2 years left, man. So you got him on this deal for 2 more years, and he'll be 28 years old in September. So you still going to have him in the prime of his career as an athletic big man that's growing his jump shot, that knows his role in the pecking order, along with Jamal Murray, along with Joker, along with Christian Brown. I know Bruce Brown probably be gone next year, but the Nuggets have players behind them that didn't get to play that are going to play next year that they drafted in previous years. But shout out to Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr. had a terrible series, but stepped up when they needed him most in Game 5. He couldn't shoot a beach ball into the ocean, bro. But I said on Twitter, all you need is 1-3 to go in. Just get 1 to go in. You feel good about it. But it wasn't even just that for Michael Porter Jr. Like, he was still getting rebounds, bro. Like, if you were a betting man, bet the over on the rebounds. He gonna get every single last one of them.
I did.
He gonna get every single last rebound. Like, and that to me, rebounding is effort. Rebounding is want to. And so we knew that even though he had a bad series, to me as a coach, I see he's still engaged with the game. He knows that he has a short leash, but even though he's on the bench, I saw him cheering for Christian Brown in the game. I saw him dapping him up, hyping up the team. Of course, it's the NBA Finals and you want to win, but he still contributed in ways where when it was time to play ball, Game 5, he came through and showed that. I think he had like, 15 points, if I'm not mistaken, in Game 5. I can't remember, but I know
that's being in foul trouble the first half, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he definitely stepped up. Jamal Murray, man, I spoke about it before. He turned it all the way around. He will be in the top 10 somewhere, and minimum top 10 in our top 10 point guards in the when we get ready for the next season. Just played phenomenal.
I got a question about him.
Go ahead.
Will he be an all-star?
He might be. I mean, we've seen players that go to the finals, and not even just the finals, but in the playoffs, and they blossom into who they can be. Now, he might not be a number 1 option, obviously, but him paired with Joker, boosts him into a different category. It's kind of like just pairing up certain players together, where as a pairing, they play very well. But if they're like separate, then it don't work as well. But because he's beside Joker, you can put him in that category, I think.
And I don't think he's playing for an all-star, to be honest. And I think that might be more of a chip on his shoulder. And then to your point that you're making, Savage, like, for instance, Malik Monk. Monk last season was but you paired him with his buddy De'Aaron Fox. That man was a menace coming off the bench. That was like 20 points a game in the system. So I don't think he's one of those players that there's too many guards in the West. Let's just be honest here. Until they do positionless all-star games and positionless all-pro teams, all-NBA teams, not all-pro, he may never get it because it's going to be really a popularity contest.
And they better give it to him now if they don't want him to get less money to stay with the damn Nuggets. They better do something.
A political move will be to give it to him.
Let's talk about voter fatigue. Like, hold on, get him in there because I don't need him staying with Joker for more than 5-6 years. But my best thing that I liked about Jamal Murray, and we talked about it a little bit on this podcast, where we were saying, make Joker into a scorer. And in my eyes, I'm like, make Jamal Murray into a playmaker, but I'd be damned. The man averaged 20, 10, and 6 in the playoffs, like in the finals. Jamal Murray, he didn't even average, I think, like 7 assists in the regular season. He averaged 10 in the NBA finals, bro. Like, that just goes to show you the versatility of the team, man. That's good coaching. That's a way to kind of maneuver through the chess match that's happening. For him to average 10 assists, that was a big deal for me, along with the 20 points. Then, of course, I mean, Nikola Jokic, we have not seen anything like this before. I've watched basketball for the better part of about 25 years, and I've seen big men that can pass. I've seen Arvydas Sabonis. I've seen Pau Gasol. I've seen Sabonis' son. But Joker is a very unique player. Some people think he's just like a player that gets the ball in the half court and just holds it and just surveys the field. Like, I've seen this dude run the fast break, man. Like, he runs a fast break. He's dribbling the ball with a tight handle, going behind the back, between the legs, all type of stuff, and then making great passes or finishing through contact, even though he's like 280 pounds, and scoring at will. The man does not miss inside the three-point line, ladies and gentlemen. It's like dagger after dagger after dagger. When he gets into the paint, turns around, and that little floater shot, it goes in every time, man. Every single time. I think Jaron talked about it on Paul George's podcast, where it's like he don't think he's ever seen him miss a shot inside the paint. And that's the DPOY, ladies and gentlemen. He's seen Joker a couple times during the season. So Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now, which is weird to say. It's weird to say because he has no athleticism. He's not really like a aesthetically pleasing player. And most, I love watching Joker play. I do. I love watching him play because he maneuvers the game so well, manipulates the game so well. But that's the best player in the game, ladies and gentlemen. And it's honestly a shame that they gave the MVP to Joel Embiid. I won't get into that right now. I said on the early episodes that
he still deserved it. He did. It's a regular season award.
My counter to that.
50.
My counter to that.
50.
My counter to that is we need an Offensive Player of the Year award. That's what Embiid is. He's an OPOY. Get an MVP to Joker. But we ain't got to get into that. But he did win a third MVP. It was a Finals MVP. So we will.
Which is greater than.
Right.
Greater than.
We will say that. But to kind of flip it towards Miami, we give the Nuggets a lot of praise, deservedly so, because again, these are the NBA champions. They deserve to get the first, I guess, segment, quote unquote, in terms of our podcast. But I do want to talk about the Miami Heat, and we can go right into the offseason outlook. We can go right into it. The Heat were what, a 7th seed initially, then they lost that game in the play-in, became the 8th seed, and then of course they went on to make a run through the Eastern Conference. Nothing to hang your head about if you're the Miami Heat or if you're a Miami Heat fan. I mean, they beat some good teams along the way. Of course, Giannis did get hurt, but you still got to play the game in the playoffs. You still got players around Giannis in case that he didn't perform as well, and he did play, so there's that. Then you played who they played in the second round? I forgot.
The Knicks took us to 6.
Yeah, the Knicks who were a good team. They weren't laying down for nobody. Then of course you played Boston in the semifinals or in the conference finals, and then the NBA finals, of course, losing to the Nuggets. So Miami is in an interesting predicament in terms of like if they would have lost in the first round, their offseason would have been looking a little bit different in terms of like how they feel about the season. And then now to go from the play-in to the NBA finals and lose, it's tricky because like, do you like Gabe Vincent? Do you like Max Strus? Do you like Caleb Martin? Or how well do you like these players, knowing that you have, Bam, who played very well in the NBA finals, Jimmy, who kind of tapered off. I don't know if he had an injury. He probably won't say he had an injury, but he looked exhausted. He looked exhausted every game, man. Like he just did not have it. The body language from Jimmy Butler from like the Boston series compared to like this series was just night and day. It was like he didn't even look engaged with the series. Like I think he needs somebody to like poke at him like Grant Williams did in the Boston series. He just didn't have it for this series. But Miami, I mean, they were rumored to get Dame Lillard. I'm an advocate for that. I don't know how they make that money work because Jimmy making a lot of money, Bam making a lot of money. How does that math work? But she don't let you go, man. Miami Heat all season. What does that look like? And what is just your thoughts overall on their season as it ended yesterday?
Damn. And this is why I told Tuke earlier. Yes, I did see Tuke again, actually in Dallas, Texas. That's crazy. And I told him, I was like, damn, I forgot. I have notes about Miami. So I'll try to be as brief and remember what I said on there. And I kind of do. Ladies and gentlemen, I hear the rumors about Damian Lillard coming. And to your point, Savage, how do we make the money work? And that Tuke has mentioned the new CBA. You're talking Dame, Jimmy, and Bam. At one point, all three of these guys together will be taking $150 million in a season. What team will you be able to build around them, knowing what you just saw from the Nuggets and knowing what it's going to take to get there around them? It's going to be very, very challenging. And so, to me, I'm not all in for Damian Lillard. Am I against it? I'm not against it. Who the hell would be against getting Damian Lillard to your team? However, I just don't think it is a smart move. Now, I got a lot to say, so I hope y'all are all right. The first thing, I'll preface everything I say by saying this. I don't know if everyone saw the interview with Jimmy and Kyle, but there's still this energy of those two being really good friends. And don't get me wrong, and first of all, hats off to Kyle Lowry. When it was time And he is always good on the road. Always good on the road in the playoffs. Home, road, different. And he proved to me he's good. I don't know if he's worth 30 millions, but good. So I will say that. So I'll take my time. I will. Okay. So think about the new CBA, what we need. Let's be honest here. Yes, we may have missed out on scoring, but they scored more points because they out-rebounded us. We're missing length. We're missing bodies. Okay. And so, if I could be Patrick Riley, and sometimes they call me Pat, but sometimes I go by Sheedy, for this team, here's how I would start. One, you get Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis. I'll take either one of them.
Perfect.
Either one of them. I would prefer Brook Lopez because if you think about how Brook Lopez can be utilized in the zone defense that we have, and you would necessarily have Bam and him, pretty much you could probably do like a 2-1-2 or even a 3-2 defense and let the rest of it just figure itself out, right? And so we need to get Brook Lopez, hopefully for the mid-level exception. That's my goal, okay? Now let's move on to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, love you. And I could see us trade. I would like for you to get traded to a team that beat us. These are all teams that beat us. The Atlanta Hawks. Why I say the Atlanta Hawks? Because DeJounte Murray's contract, ladies and gentlemen, ain't about $18 million. Give me DeJounte Murray, and they got that other center that comes off the bench.
Kongu.
Him. Bring him as well. So now we have 3 centers or 3 bigs at least to go around with.
Yeah, y'all really had no backup big at all. Like it was
Cody Zeller came in and stuck up the court.
Oh my God, Cody Zeller, like what was that? He missed like a rebound or something. Or it was something that was like, bro, why is he playing? Just get this old ass man off the court.
In game 5. And I think it was in the end of the third or start of the fourth quarter. Timeout, Spo. Got his ass right back out.
I was like, because it was like plenty of time left. Y'all was right back in the game. And it was like, it was like a 8-0 run, something crazy happened. I don't know. But it was just like, dude, get out of the game, please.
Yeah, and like we have another big, Yurt Severin is there, but for some reason we have not developed him to the way that we want him yet. So that's my quick fix, right? Now, I am not against, and here's how I'm about to open up a can of worms here. Tyler Hero's got to go. Okay? Tyler Hero has to go because Tyler Hero still has value to me in this league, and we can find a contract that can kind of match. Watch what I tell y'all this, okay? You can pair up Tyler Hero and maybe Caleb Martin for a player that we could have traded for before he got traded.
Y'all say it. Come on in my world.
I'm not going to go down Bradley Beal Street. I don't want that. Okay? But I will holler at the other tarantula, the spider, Mitchell, from the Cavs.
I ain't going that far.
He's only making $30 million.
And there's some smoke around it about them, like because New York is sniffing around.
New York is sniffing. Exactly.
That's weird to me. I mean, it's not weird because I didn't like the pairing of Garland and Donovan a lot as far as like defensively anyway. But that is interesting. I will say that I do agree with that. It's interesting.
Yes. So if the Cavs can open up to the Knicks, they can open up to the Heat. Now, well, hold on. Let's go back to who was you about to say?
Oh, my boy out there in Dallas.
Oh, Kyrie.
There's smoke around there too.
Yes, there is.
Look, I got a whole look. Just Sheedy.
I will.
Don't come to me.
I don't. That man said 4 years, $200 million. And I said, oh hell to the no. And my other part about Tyler Hero is he can be traded to a Pacers team to get Buddy Hield and someone else. But another team that I can think of, again, I'm looking at this in a sense of I need players that can score. Players I'll be healthy to score, and a little bit of size. So if I'm already getting Brook Lopez, if I'm already trading for whatever his name is, right? I would actually serve Tyler Hero on a platter to the Utah Jazz to get Lori for marketing, or I would serve Tyler Hero up to the Kings. The Kings get back to me. I've just mentioned Malik Monk earlier. Coming off the bench will be a heater. Keegan Murray. And Davion Mitchell. Now, this is what I would like. Will these things work? Never does for Sheedy. However, I just don't believe a Damian Lillard at $60 million with the new CBA is going to be able to draw what we can now. Kyrie Irving. As long as he's not looking for 4 years, $200 million, that's something different. I thought about Trae Young. Trae Young's contract continues to go up and escalate as well. And I don't need someone with bad hair down in Miami not doing well and doing turnover.
Shit, you ain't even got hair.
And that's why my hair is gone, because it was bad. Okay? So that's my wish list. I know we need a big name to drop. I know Pat is going to give us a big name. I get that. However, I would be okay with getting a big name such as Donovan Mitchell, who's only making $30 million, which is a disgrace and a slap in the face, if you ask me, when you got his counterpart, Rudy Gobert, collecting $40+ million to do what for the Minnesota Timberwolves? And I would be the Knicks game plan against the Cavs and shutting down Donovan Mitchell will never be the same as it would have been for Donovan Mitchell being with Eric Spoelstra and the Heat. That is why, we all saw how Donovan Mitchell got shut down against the Knicks. I hear that. But the ball movement we had was very different than what JB Bickerstaff has over there in Cleveland. So that's what I will say. But again, we have to address length. And if Brook Lopez is available, Bobby Portis is available, these players have done dirt to us in the paint, rebounding, and Brook Lopez, even more specifically, hitting that corner three or that like little side 45-degree angle three as well. But I concede.
Hey, Sheedy, Dame is only 45. He'll be 45 next year. And then the year after that is 48.
When he get to 60?
Let's see. He gets to 60 in 25-26.
And that's when all of them hit it.
But if you're Miami, you could. I think y'all window is like 2 years ish.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy's on the decline. I would take my chances with that 2-year window. I would, and then at that $60 million, you could trade Damian Lillard potentially again to a contender who just want 1 year of Dame, whoever that is down the road. Maybe it's LA Lakers like down the road. Yeah, as a 1 year, we'll eat $60 million, and he off our books, after that year. So you could potentially have him for 2 years and somehow make it work. I think that Riley would just have to be okay with buying into getting, that much money invested in 3 players, at least at that time. I'm not sure when the new CBA kicks in. And then I think it's what's around those players that matters the most. Like, are y'all going to develop Jovic, who's from Serbia as well, like Jokic is? I liked him coming into the draft, but he got no tick at all. And I didn't see him, I feel like, ever. I don't know if you did. I never saw him. I think y'all got to develop the young players, which is why I think that y'all should probably trade for a player that doesn't have high value, but is a young player on a rookie deal. Just as an example, Zaire Williams from the Grizzlies. I would buy, I don't know what it would cost to get him. He don't have any value right now. If I were y'all, a player of that ilk, not necessarily Zaire himself, but like a player that's disappointing, Chris Duarte from Indiana Pacers. He's older, but that's a player that is like had a very bad time his first 1 or 2 years in the league, and then take a chance on those players who were lottery players and see if they could perform better in those situations. That's what I would do, paired with Jimmy, Dame, if he comes, and Bam. That's what I would do.
So you're on a Dame train, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, I've been on Dame train, man. We back on it. We back, man. We back, man. We back. What you mean?
Not to put out the Lakers on you.
Yes, man. Dame train. Let's get it.
Of course, I'm on the Dame train, but the talk with Josiah Johnson really helped with that. And what I mean by that is that I really had to go and look at different kind of contracts and things. That is why I brought up Kyrie Irving. With Kyrie Irving, what he's eligible to do, which is very important, is let me pull it up real quick. So he's eligible to sign a 2 year, $78 million extension until June 30th. After June 30th, if he ain't signed nothing, then he's an unrestricted free agent for the most part. He's able to sign a 5 year, a year. Again, 5-year, $272 million contract with the Mavs.
He's 32 years old.
Ain't no way in hell the Mavericks gonna give him that money.
I was like, I think he's 32. He's like a year older than us. So I'm like,
he's like 31, 32. So he Mavs.
Wait, can you say that again? 5-year what?
$272.9.
Nobody give him that. Nobody's giving him that. Nobody.
That's damn near $30 million.
So again, bear with me. So if not, the max he can sign will be a 4-year, $201 million. So that's pretty much $50 million, right? If I am Patrick Riley, I am doing anything I can to get Kyrie Irving in a Miami Heat uniform. I say that because one, they're a match made in heaven. Miami Heat don't like playing in the regular season. Neither does Kyrie Irving. Number two, with these new CBA rules, these owners are going to have to get creative. Kyrie Irving, come on over here. We give you $25 million a year, but every home game you play, we'll give you a percent of ticket sales, whatever. This how contracts are going to have to be working. You're going to have to work out something. But the Miami Heat they've been too close for too long. Even in the bubble, what, 2-3 years ago, Miami NBA Finals lost. Back in the NBA Finals again. And where do you see what you got? A team full of undrafted players who played their hearts out.
And they needed scoring bad. That's
bad. And this season, Sheeta, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a season for two of the players to show up. One was Tyler Hero, who showed up during the regular season, and Victor Oladipo, who was nowhere near to be found. Those are two players making bukus of money you can get off the list. But the Miami Heat, based on what they paying those two players, Duncan Robinson and probably a couple other players, you can get somebody like a Kyrie Irving for a good price. Now, I know Kyrie out here saying I want 40 mil, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and realize, hey, how much longer I got in this game? What am I playing for? It's pretty much when Carmelo Anthony was a free agent and he had to play either, do you want to go to New York for money or do you want to go to, ironically, Miami Heat to win a championship? He chose the money. Cool. Kyrie, do you want the championship or do you want the money? But if they don't do that, Cheaty, I think you're in a good position because you still two players, one player averaging 20 points a game didn't play a single game in the NBA Finals. Victor Oladipo, two-way player, not missing in the NBA Finals. Those are two players who could have made a difference. So y'all right there. Brook Lopez, you brought him up. That was a player I was going to bring up. Perfect example. If y'all can get him, cool. But at this point, you can't go into next season with Bam Adebayo as your starting center. Bam Adebayo, the way he played this entire postseason, to me, is a point forward, which is not taking nothing away from him. I saw Ben Simmons, I saw Giannis, I see all these different players in him this past postseason. And cool. Coach, let's elevate that. How can we make that better? But he don't need to be guarding, Jokic if, worst case to be this was the next NBA Finals we see again.
On top of that, too, real quick about the centers, we're seeing the game shift back towards centers again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Jokic is huge, Embiid is huge. Who else? We've seen Jared Allen, Mobley's big, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a 7-footer. He's big. So you like Bam is great. He played great in the final. He's 6'7". He's a great defender. He's a DPOY candidate probably for the next couple of years, but you can't count on him to be a facilitator on offense, score 18 points, and then also defend the best players. That's not realistic for him. We see Draymond do something similar at a similar size, but he's not afforded to have offensive possession where he's taking 30 shots or 12, 15 shots. That's not going to happen.
And I like what they're doing because he's still able, his mid-range. He was doing this damn thing yesterday with the mid-range. So you got something there. But if you are able to bring in a Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, somebody, a Miles Turner, somebody that can just stand in the court, because when you started Kevin Love, you won. That should show you something right there. So upgrade that, upgrade a couple fours. I'm not sure what they're going to do with top 10 Lowry. I'd like to see him back. But he's not worth, I guess, the 30 million, whatever he's getting paid right now.
He showed his ass in the playoffs.
Boy, my boy, top 10 showed his butt yesterday.
He's under contract again next year. Yeah.
He had a sequence where he laced 2 threes. I was like, shit, that man pulled that.
Yeah. He pulled like Steph. I mean, Steph Lowry, but nah, just y'all literally right there. And I think Pat Riley is to the point where now it's all right, let me go ahead and do my Pat Riley. Let me go and get on my ironically Jerry West-ish and see what we can turn up. Y'all finna have a fun offseason, bro.
Yeah.
But y'all right there, y'all are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Regardless of y'all coming to the playoffs 1-8. Y'all beat the Celtics. Y'all beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
More than once. You know what I'm saying?
And that was
Y'all
with
literally
undrafted players, bro. Like, imagine if y'all like Oladipo was hurt. He got hurt early on in the playoffs. Tyler Hero, I mean, I think he could have contributed. I don't know why they activated him in the first place. He wasn't gonna play. Like, I would just, if he ain't playing, sit your ass, like, just wear your street clothes, dude. Like, I don't really get that. But to Cap's point here, I do think Bam is a 4. I like Bam at the 4, pairing him. I mean, you can make matchups and put him at the 5 when you need him to, but I think naturally he's a 4, and I think that his game will develop better once he develops that. You saw the mid-range jumper; he was lacing it. I want to see him step out a little bit more to knock down 3 to keep the defense honest with him, because we've seen him attack the basket and be successful with floaters and layups and like he can be successful, and I think he hasn't quite reached his ceiling just yet. Like who we saw in the finals is, I think, indicative of who he can be and grow into as time gets on. I think he's like, what, 25 years old, 24, 25? He still got plenty of time to grow.
Yeah, still young.
He's still young, man. He gonna keep growing. But I like him better as a 4 than a 5, at least for right now, knowing what I just saw in the NBA Finals against, again, the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic. But I don't want to force him to defend a big center every night and then pair him with Jimmy and they have no other scoring or true options for scoring buckets, which I think to Tuk's point, Kyrie will be a perfect fit. I'm actually leaning towards that now, even with his off the court, quote unquote, issues that people bring up.
Yeah, because they ain't gonna play none of that with Pat Riley. Like Pat Riley gonna sit him down and say, "Hey, well, like as long as you ready for the playoffs, let's get it." Like it's a match made in heaven, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up the fella's comment. He said, "Can Jimmy be the lead dog for a championship team? Does he need a lead guy like Dame, or can another high level 2, Middleton, Siakam, Brown, Towns, Van Vliet, help get them over the hump?" I think Jimmy has it in him to be a lead dog. We've seen him do it twice to get his team to the NBA Finals. I think in the bubble, I mean, Jimmy was playing out of his mind. Like, he was just that dude. And even in these playoffs, first 2 or 3 series leading into the finals, like, Jimmy played well. And I think he just ran out of gas once he got to Denver. On top of he had ankle injuries. He had some nicks and bruises. I mean, everybody does. But, I mean, Jimmy is an older player now. He's not Jimmy Butler from Chicago or Philly or Minnesota anymore. But he still will show flashes. I think that we saw it in the fourth quarter where he was turning it up finally. But I mean, if it's not sustainable for the duration of a game, which is why you need somebody with Jimmy as a legit number 2. I think Kyrie in this case would be a number 2, or if Dame, they're Dame number 1. I mean, on offense for sure. But Jimmy is still by and large the leader of that team. They move as Jimmy moves, so I think that Jimmy still can be a lead dog. I think lead dog just looks different for a Jimmy Butler.
I think lead dog look different for Eastern Conference teams, period. And what I mean by that, again, not taking away from the Nuggets, but if you look at the teams that the Heat had to go through, they're some of the best, better teams defensively. You talk about the Bucks, one of the best teams defensively. You talk about the Knicks, one of the best teams defensively. The Celtics, probably statistically the best team defensively. And the Heat had to go through all of that. So for you to come and, go into a Nuggets that's kind of coasted, to get to the NBA Finals, Jimmy's tired, man. So to answer the question, of course he can, but he's gonna need help because he's gonna be exhausted by the time he gets to the NBA Finals. So if you can have somebody like a top 2, whatever, what was you saying, like a player 2, whatever,
like a Dame or
that's why I said Kyrie Irving. If you can find a way to get him, because you are able to do his contract however, which besides Dame, who already signed his. Kyrie about to be a free agent. You can do whatever you need to make that happen. Make it happen because you're gonna need to.
Another thing that Jimmy needs real quick, Sheedy, is that Jimmy did a lot of the playmaking, the dribbling, there was a sequence where Jimmy, he has the ball, he dribbles to the goal, it's right under the goal, and it passes out. I'm like, bro, shoot it! Like, what are you doing? Like, shoot it! And so I think that's just him internally thinking, like, let me get my guys going when he needs to have that killer mentality. I was telling Sharky, like, the equivalent to the Miami Heat having a good game, like as far as Jimmy got to take shots for them to play good, and that's similar to like Anthony Davis got to get rebounds for the Lakers to play good. If Jimmy is shooting the ball, I know that, okay, that means that he's ready to play. If AD is getting rebounds, I know he's ready to play. When Jimmy is not shooting and he's being passive, that to me is not conducive to the Miami Heat being successful. They do need a table setter. And I like Gabe Vincent, but he did not perform as well in the majority of the final, which is nothing against him. He's an undrafted player. Like I'm not expecting him to be a super great player, but he's a backup point guard. He's a good backup point guard. He can make threes. He can play decent defense. He is good at what he does, but he should not be starting. Should not be. Absolutely not. He should be playing the Bruce Brown, Christian Brown role. Coming in for like 15 minutes, give me like 2 or 3 threes, and get back on the bench because you ain't gonna be guarding, Jamal Murray all night. That ain't happening. So they need somebody that can set the table for them on offense, and then also get their own shot as well too, to kind of take the heat off of, no pun intended, the heat off of Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and to add on to what you guys are saying, the one thing we haven't discussed here as well is Jimmy, when we go to man, is guarding your best player, right? Or one of the best players there. So he's guarding one of your best players, getting the ball out of his hands. But even if they score, who's the one after the inbounds that gets the ball? Is Jimmy Butler. So then he's got to travel 94 feet to make the decision to become the playmaker. There were times even then he would pass it, right, and then get it right back, actually, because he had to facilitate and do that. It's like Duncan Robinson wasn't going off. Max Strus wasn't going off. And to the point that we're making is there needs to be a guard that can handle the ball at all times, whether that is a Dame or Kyrie or whoever it may be. We need a guard. And if it suffers on defense, it suffers on defense. We'll figure it out. But the fact that Jimmy Butler has to play make to get a point, because at the end of the day, after Milwaukee, maybe a half of the Knicks series, that pump fake was done, but he kept bringing it back. And it wasn't as useful as it was in the beginning because
they download that pump fake. It was right. Like it ain't working, bro. It ain't working.
It's done. So so that was his thing, right? He would dribble, pump fake, try to create. Yep. And then when he got beat right there, of course, in the steal at the end, but he tries to throw it out.
KCP steal, yep. Exactly what.
And so if only there was a guard that could just take that off of him, his prowess. Now, does that mean that he may suffer in his points? He may go down in points. Oh, well. But if you're telling him that that's going to bring him a championship, bring us a championship, then by all means, so you cut the check and you make it out.
Everybody thought Kyrie was there for LeBron. Nah. He's trying to figure out how we gonna beat these Nuggets. I'm telling you.
All right, man. But Miami, I think they'll be all right. I think. I mean, it's Miami Heat. This is again a great franchise. They'll figure it out, but they do have some decisions to make in terms of like how they're going to construct the roster to be competitive, because Pat Riley wants to win championships. That's who he is. That's who he's always been since he was a player, since he was a coach, and now he's an executive. So they'll figure it out, I assume. So, all right, let's hear from BetStamp. This episode of 3 to Hardaway is brought to you by the BetStamp app. BetStamp is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, sports bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you can possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, BetStamp allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all sportsbooks. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for games lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting and maximize your chances of winning long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 yearly just by line shopping. You can find the BetStamp app on the Apple Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code LBR. That's LBR, and start your journey to sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your BetStamp account settings afterwards. BetStamp. Bet like a pro. Before we get into NBA news, real quick, I do want to know what y'all are thinking as far as the Joker's like place in history all time. I mean, he has 2 MVPs. He is a NBA champion. He has a Finals MVP, and there have been conversations about just where he is in like the all-time centers list. Of course, his career ain't done yet. I mean, he still got work to do, or more work to do in terms of like he might win another ring, he might win another MVP, whatever. But I just want to know what are y'all thoughts on where he is in comparison to like a Shaq or Hakeem and Wilt and Kareem? What do y'all think?
I think he enters the conversation of like, if you're talking about position of center, right? Not just players, but just as a center himself, for you not to have Nikola Jokic, I was saying like your top 7, it's kind of like blasphemy, to be honest. That means you not really watching basketball for real. Like, to me, what he's been able to do has been phenomenal. And then defensively, I mean, he's not like a defensive stopper like Hakeem, but he doesn't have to be. And so for me, he's definitely in the top 10. I feel like he was already in the top 10 to start the season. I believe him winning a ring has elevated him more. I cannot put him past Shaq. I can't put him past Wilt. I cannot put him past Kareem. Kareem, Wilt, Shaq.
Let me go through a top 10 list that I found on Twitter. Not Twitter, but on ESPN. So, is he better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right now?
No.
Okay. Wilt Chamberlain?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Bill Russell?
Yes.
No.
Interesting. Y'all get
only because of like the legacy that Bill Russell has. So I'm right now. I'm not saying players. I'm just saying based on legacy.
I think for me,
legacy better.
Yeah, I think for me, I could buy Wilt Chamberlain because Wilt Chamberlain only won like I think 1 ring. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a scoring. He was a unicorn in general. Like he just was different. But I feel like once it's all said and done, the Joker will have a better career in terms of like his accolades and things like that. Okay. Then I will buy some of that. I think I'll buy some of that. Shaquille O'Neal.
No, hell no.
Okay. Hakeem Olajuwon.
No.
Not yet. He's there. He's getting there.
Okay. Moses Malone.
Oh, he's better than Moses Malone.
3-time MVP, Finals MVP. Okay. David Robinson, yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing, yeah. George
so
Mikan.
He top 5? Is Jokic top 5 already?
Bill Walton, yeah. Okay. So he's in that 7-ish range, I would say.
I mean, to me, based off what I said, he already top 5.
You top 5? Who did we say?
He gave Wilt. I think you said Wilt.
I said
I gave Shaq.
It's Kareem. I see Kareem, Bill, Russell, Wilt Chamberlain's here. Shaq is here, and Hakeem. That's 5.
Okay, Wilt Chamberlain ain't in my top 5.
And Moses, I think Moses and Joker are kind of like in the same category, I would say. So I would say Joker is at least 7 right now. At least 7.
Jokic is in my top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like by the time
and he's not done yet. That I think that's the thing you're about to say. We're not even done yet.
Yeah. Yes, Shark. He's breaking Wilt records right now. So it's like, hey, all thing he got to do is get 100 points. And
all we'll have to do is get 100 points. 100 points. Y'all really got to convince me this man scored 100 points.
That what Devin Walker be saying from Grand City Media.
If you think about it, Sharky. I mean, I won't call you Sharky. If you think about it, Savage.
Yeah.
There's media has always been around, whether it's evolved or whatever. Somebody please find me a newspaper article saying
it's the picture, man. I got the picture of him holding up the little picture of the 100, man.
No,
you need the same thing for Lisa Leslie.
Exactly, man. Like you got this big, pause black man out here breaking all the NBA records, and there's no legit proof outside of him holding up a napkin saying 100 points.
He said a napkin.
Nah, man. Somebody went to a restaurant, got their little nasty ketchup stains on this paper towel and said, "Here, just hold up 100." We or whatever, man. Nah, I don't believe that. I legit don't believe.
Shout out to the fellas sports writer. He said
Dwight. I forgot about Dwight.
He's right in front of Dwight. Dwight. I had to look at Dwight's accolade, but Dwight has several DPOYs. He led things to the NBA Finals. I mean, Dwight should be top 75. I don't know why he wasn't top 75. That was blasphemy right there. He says Kareem, Wilt, Hakeem, Shaq, Bill, Moses, David Robinson. I think Joker's better than David Robinson in my opinion. That's no hesitation at all from me. I think you can have a conversation between him and Moses Malone right now because Joker has 2 MVPs, Moses got 3. But I think that's a conversation you can have right now. But be clear, all respect to Moses Malone, one of the best players of all time, one of the best scorers, rebounders. That he did a damn thing for the Sixers for sure.
And had to go against the Celtics.
Yes,
very, very good Celtics team. And then didn't they beat the Lakers that year too?
Yep.
Yes.
Dr. J. Yep. So yeah. Shout out to Moses Malone. I definitely want to give him flowers. Like we're young relative to that generation, but my mom and dad let me know about Moses Malone. I'm not gonna disrespect him at all. So,
it's funny how these lists of big men, like they all dominated the game differently.
In a different way, yep. Because King was a dominant two-way player. Shaq was dominant on offense. You couldn't stop him once the ball was in the paint. We had David Robinson, a dominant scorer, versatile scorer. He was kind of like LeBron-ish, where he was so athletic. He wasn't shooting, obviously, but he could dribble. He can attack the basket. He was a good rebounder. Who else? Wilt's a unicorn. Kareem had the unstoppable hook shot. Bill Russell, he was like he talked about break starter on 2K too. He was the break starter for Bob Cousy for those Celtics. So they all did it differently. And then Joker is like a point guard in a recreational player form. So yeah, just all levels of different dominance. We brought up old players, and I want to bring up an old player right now with our last segment of NBA news.
Your segues are getting on point right here.
Let's bring up Will Chamberlain's teammate, Mr. Jerry West. Man, Jerry West came out. He came out. Was that Paul George podcast too?
Yeah,
he came out on Paul George podcast and brought up a story that's relevant to us as a Memphis-based podcast and Grizzlies fans and those who follow the Grizzlies. Jerry West went on the podcast and said that he basically, as he was the GM for the Grizzlies. For those who didn't know, Jerry West was the GM for he was some type of executive. He was GM for the Grizzlies in the early into mid 2000s. So some success, not a whole bunch, but some success came from Jerry West, absolutely. And he mentioned that at some point, Kobe Bryant expressed interest in joining the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, Jerry West and Kobe Bryant had a very close relationship. We all know this. Jerry West is a legendary Laker. Jerry West was responsible or at least somewhat responsible in Kobe Bryant being traded to the Lakers. So when he had drafted, so there is some relationship there. But two, you had some thoughts and opinions about Jerry West's comments as it relates to Kobe potentially going to the Grizzlies. I just want to hear what you had to say.
Nah, I just need him to shut up. Nah, man, it's for one, I won't disrespect Jerry West. To me, he's the greatest as far as like minds and front offices. Like he's the greatest mind in any front office. Like he's been involved in some of the major best deals you can possibly find. But it just takes me back to those days when like you and your uncle be having basketball talks, you as a little kid, and you say, oh, so-and-so finna come to town. Oh, whoa, so-and-so to town. Oh, Kobe Bryant finna come to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And, you just kind of look them off or whatever. But to hear that Kobe Bryant actually wanted to come to Memphis is heartbreaking because he never got here.
I refuse to believe that, man. I refuse to believe
he wanted to come here just based on the mascot or something like that.
I refuse to believe that as a Memphian, as a Kobe Bryant lifer. I refuse to believe that. I'm calling cap. Not because it is cap, because I want it to be cap.
I heard it and I'm like, why? I mean, why would he want to come to Memphis? Why leave LA? But that's just the relationship and the person that Jerry West is. Like he's a logo for a reason. So I'm just saying, like, if he would have came to Memphis, ain't no telling what could have happened for the city of Memphis, man. It's so much good that could have came through that, but that's neither here nor there. Jerry West was involved in making that Pau Gasol trade. So, when I don't know, man, Kobe won with Pau Gasol in LA. Just imagine what he could have done in Memphis. I don't think Phil Jackson would have came to Memphis though.
We don't know that. He might have.
Yeah, who knows? He might stop him from doing that too.
I think it's like why, like Jerry West, you were the GM of the Grizzlies. You could have had Kobe Bryant. How you gonna be so like you should want to be successful in your job, right? So if you were the GM and Kobe Bryant in his prime, like this is like 2006, 7, in the middle of Kobe Bryant come off of 80, 81 points and 45, 50 points and all this stuff. Like, you should be like, yeah, I need you on my team. Let's make it happen. Why would you self-sabotage the organization like that? That's why he didn't stick around any further, because he was just, I don't know if he was depressed being here. I understand a little bit, but like, come on, Jerry.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's the difference between being a Lakers man and being a Lakers fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jerry West is literally a Lakers man. Like, he wasn't gonna take Kobe Bryant from the Lakers. Like,
is he a Lakers man though? And he working with the Clippers right now.
Jerry West is a Lakers man. Trust me.
He a mole for the Clippers right now.
He just want the money.
Why do you think he sent Pau Gasol out to Memphis, man? I mean, come on, for Kwame Brown. Come on, man. Think about it. No time to him and Shaq.
Now, Candy, I do remember Kobe wanting to go to the Chicago Bulls. I remember that time period when he wanted to get traded there. But I never heard the Grizzlies. I never heard it. But I mean, wow. Rest in peace, Kobe.
It sounded good.
Yeah, like I think the thing that's missing from this is like actually hearing it from being himself or his wife or someone else, because it's like this old to Tuke's point, you got your great uncle coming around telling you a story around a campfire type deal. And it's like, I don't know if I believe it or not. And I don't know of a scenario where I really see that Kobe really wanted to be in Memphis. Chicago's one, Philly, right? Because that's where he's from. I can see, but just a random Memphis, nothing against Memphis, but like random Memphis, I can't really see that. And I would need him to have wrote this in his diary somewhere, or again, his wife saying something about it. But I just don't believe. I just really think that, maybe he's just getting some clickbait, so to speak, for it all. But I don't see it. And when I saw it, I was like, nah, I'm good, Jerry. I don't know what you've been drinking today, but you need to lay off of that today. So
I think it was more so of him wanting to be with Jerry West, because he knew Jerry West was going to get him the team. He knew Jerry West was going to get him another championship ring. And again, this was when Shaq and Kobe were beefing. So if I'm finna choose sides, I'm gonna go to a side where I don't want with. If y'all gonna pick Shaq over me, then I'm finna go somewhere where I can win. And that would have been Memphis. So we can say why Memphis. You got to think Kobe Bryant was crazy. Respectfully, he wanted to win. He
wanted to win so bad. Yeah, I feel you.
If I want to go to a front office that I know
wants his own team,
if the money's gonna be there, you know what I'm saying.
And the money was there. Grizzlies weren't paying nobody like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Grizzlies had players. The fellas. They had, I believe, Mike Miller at the time. Maybe Posey was on that team.
Ain't nobody scoring with Kobe Bryant and Shane Battier out there.
Yeah,
nobody.
They would have found a way if that happened. If that was the case. Of course, we don't know for sure. Shark said, "What is greater than what if." You know me, man. That's a motto I live by. That's a motto I live by. But of course, rest in peace, Kobe, man. That's just an interesting nugget from Jerry West. A Kobe fan, the president of the Kobe Bryant fan base, I have to believe that's cap, and that's for my mental health. Because if I can go back in time, 2004. And lock Jerry West into his office and say, "Hey, man, make this happen," I would. But I'm not gonna do it. All right, gentlemen, this is the last episode, man, of the season, man. We roughly at 38, 39. I can't remember the number.
I think today's is 38.
38, yeah. So we had 38 episodes, man. Just real before we get out of here, just want to hear reflections on the season, man. Just how everything went.
This is easily one of the funniest / funnest NBA season I've ever seen. Like, we started off with, what I'm saying, all the heat gonna repeat to the whole Jordan Poole thing, Draymond Green thing. To
that tweet on Twitter is like doing like it's so many different videos that people have posted about just this being the funniest season in general. Like, shit just been.
We retweeted it, so make sure y'all go check that post. But when they said it, like, I believe it. Like, the whole Ja Morant situation. We found in the West. I bet, young buck, we finna go ahead and trade everybody over here.
We trade Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. The Lakers going to go ahead and turn up. Like, everybody turned up as soon as Ja Morant said that. And they would have gotten away for it if it wasn't them damn kids out there in Memphis just poking the bears. Hopefully we ain't got to see Kendrick Perkins out here pouring honey on another man's body on national TV. Hopefully, if Giannis win another All-Star game, he can think of a better win, because I'm tired of seeing that. And Giannis, yes, the Bucks fell, but hey, there's a better season next time. Jimmy Butler came out looking like old Bow Wow. Like, this season just came out like
you just don't know. Fresh as I'm is, not that Bow Wow.
Nah, big Bow Wow. Big Bow Wow. Big Bow Weezy.
You talking about the Brad?
The Brad.
No, man, just everything. Like I said, just the ending of the season to having a team that barely made the play into the NBA Finals. For the Nuggets, like I said, who trusted the process within, without, it was the number one seed throughout most of the season and showed they the best team. And it's fun for me to see basketball becoming more big man in tone, more team oriented. Because like I told y'all before, the Nuggets ain't no 3-point shooting team. Then what happened? All you basketball nerds out here, this is the perfect season for y'all to look yourselves in the mirror and say, hey, the 3-point shot ain't as effective as I said it was coming into this season. So I'm looking forward to next season. Y'all, it's been amazing. I knew this podcast will be a success. We hit all our benchmarks that we wanted. Yes, thank y'all for rocking with us.
And shout out to us for being recording when we're getting late breaking news as well.
Oh, the perfect timing in those. More than one.
Right. Well, it was
more than one.
Kyrie getting traded or Monty, getting fired. And I also think of like this year as like being the year of, I don't know, like stepping out of your box or your comfort zone, so to speak, right? So I'm thinking about the Utah Jazz, who we thought was trade the whole house, but they were good. I mean, I feel like they weren't a play-in team, right? But they were like knocking at the door. Actually, they were,
they were the 1 seed for a little bit.
Yes. The Kings, revitalizing them and them being something to deal with. It wasn't like, all roads, so more or less go through the Warriors. Shout out to the Nuggets, the Grizzlies. And when you go out east, like this was a season that a team could have showed you that they were going to lay down, and they didn't. And I want to give kudos to Brooklyn Nets because they lost everything at the trade deadline, still kept their seed, so to speak. And let's be honest, I mean, they didn't win the series against the 76ers, but they put up a hell of a fight against the 76ers. They put up a hell of a fight with the team that they had to go against the 76ers. And so, shout out to them. The Cavs, I got to talk a little bit, but I will say this. There will be some more surprises next year like there were this year. And your Orlando Magic may come into play, right? I know how much of a Magic fan you are.
Detroit basketball.
and the way that the coaching cycle has happened this year has been crazy. And to the point, Detroit basketball, the way that they're setting themselves up for a 3 to 4 year window, to be honest.
Shout out Monty Williams real quick. He is in Detroit. They gave him a private jet to make sure that his wife can be taken care of with her health complications. So that was a part of the deal with that. So shout out to him.
On top of the $70 million?
Yes, sir. Look, keep getting that money, black man. Hey, I ain't mad at
you. Yeah. But them, I do want to also next year, I think next year is going to be even crazier, right? Damian Lillard wasn't in this time, right? Let's see what the Pelicans do with Zion. Is he still having sex with porn stars and stuff like that? But this has been a chaotic season, but a season that was against the norm that created great basketball to be seen. You didn't tune in to see, no offense, but Steph Curry, Kevin Durant going off, or LeBron James. This finals was still a great finals. These playoffs were still good playoffs series if you understand the game of basketball. And if you don't, if you're just I'm just going to watch because I know this person's name, I've seen this jersey, so I want to be that type of fan. And you could have been that, and that. However, you should have saw great basketball. And again, kudos to the coaches as well, because next season will be very, very interesting with all the coaching fires. I don't think I remember so many coaches being fired that immediate, that just come off championships in the past 3 to 4 years, like we have as well. So I'll leave it at that. I'm sorry, I was taking up a lot of time.
And one more thing. Let's continue to enjoy the greats while we can.
Yes.
Because we seen our favorite players literally show their age, and we had a video last week. Father Time is coming for them all. Let's enjoy the greats, y'all. While we still can.
For sure. For sure. Enjoy the greats, and then also lift up the new generation, man. We got these young players coming in. They're playing well. I mean, we love the Grizzlies here. They still are a young team. They are making some mistakes, and Pelicans too are making some mistakes. But they're growing into their basketball bodies and minds. Chris Vernon had a good point on the mismatch yesterday, where he was saying that, the Joker, the Nuggets, they won their NBA championship, but the age is like 27, 28 for when most of these NBA stars win their rings. Joker is like 28 years old, so around that age. It's hard to win, and it takes some time and some patience to do it. And so for those young teams that are coming up, they're still learning how to win. Still learning how to be great. Thinking about the Kings, thinking about Detroit in the future, Orlando in the future. So yes, they can be criticized, but we also got to understand that they are young and coming to their own in the association. As far as us, man, for the podcast, man, we were hella consistent. We had a lot of growth in subscribers, a lot of growth in our podcast listeners, and a lot of growth in social media. I mean, we have 1,000 followers on Twitter. That's crazy. 450-ish on TikTok, close to 200 on Instagram, getting a lot of views, a lot of engagement, whether that's a troll or people that's genuinely trying to add to conversation. Speaking of which, we had a troll last week. I don't know who that was, but shout out to you for popping into the comments. Shout out to Candy as well for about to find somebody through the comments.
Yo, low key, she's number one supporter for real.
Man, Candy, we gotta send Candy something. Whenever we get some merchandise, we gotta send Candy something. So Candy, we got you. We got you. We got you. But yeah, man. So this is, of course, the end of the regular season for 3 to Hardaway. We will be back next week to preview the draft for sure. The draft gonna be, I think, the 22nd. So we'll get into some draft talk and maybe even try to decide what do teams need, what should they be doing, or if any moves have been made up to that point. But after next week, we're gonna take 2 weeks off, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna kind of rest for the season, leading into free agency, and hopefully by then some moves have been made. Because some moves probably have to be made depending on what team and what player is being discussed. But we are gonna be back. We not going nowhere. We getting some rest, just like the Joker, who was ready to go home after they won the championship.
Hey, yo, that was the most boring celebration I ever seen for any team winning the championship.
Even him throwing Jamal Murray in the pool, you were still.
They had to do something to spice it up. He didn't even pop the champagne.
Man, he was just like, all right, yay. Like, you supposed to be spraying everybody with that motherfucker.
This what we here for. Shout out to Aaron going for having fun.
Man. If I would have,
he deserves it.
I'm forever etched in history. Look.
Like J.R. Smith with no shirt.
Bro, we won the freshman championship my freshman year. Best believe I was turned. I'm like, we won it. Like, we were the best freshman team in the freaking city. Yes, I am going to celebrate that. So, Joker, hey, it might be a European thing. I don't know. But, hey, look, whenever you accomplish something of that magnitude, just like how we celebrated 100 subscribers, we going to turn up. That's what we're going to do. We got to take a shot. We didn't take a shot yet on the show.
Next show.
We got to do it, man. We got to do it. So, all right, y'all. We'll be back next week. Next Sunday, this time we'll be back on Sunday, so we're gonna be a little bit sooner than on Tuesday. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming, but we'll be back next week to discuss some NBA draft stuff. Follow us on social media, man. We still going up over there. We got 3 to Hardaway Pod on Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok. So until then, stay safe, be blessed, peace.